news. A Cape Town mother whose baby was delivered by emergency C-section at only 25 weeks while she was unconscious and on ventilator support for COVID-19 was overjoyed to meet her baby boy for the first time today. Joining us for more on their emotional reunion is reporter Nasipi Same. Nasipi, good evening. And, you know, it's such an incredible story of hope, of what is possible, despite the very grim, stories that we've been hearing around COVID-19.
Well, that's indeed true. The mother was also very emotional. We tried, speaking on camera. She did ask for a few minutes. She was very, very emotional, and says that, she was dealing with a lot of trauma, not knowing whether the baby is going to survive. So basically what happened was that in December, she is indeed a frontline worker. And in December, she went in for a routine, pregnancy routine check with her doctor. That's when she started having short breath. And she's saying that she knew all this COVID-19 symptoms and very concerned about her health, taking into account that she does have comorbidity. And she says that the rapid test that was done on her came back negative, and a second test was taken to lab. And she did indeed, collapse and was unconscious. And during the time she was on a ventilator, that is when doctors noticed complications and had to go in with emergency C-section and deliver the baby at 25 weeks. And that was the day before her birthday, and she was on a ventilator, unconscious. So on the 16th of December, she gave birth to little Oyena. And she specifically named the baby Oyena, and she says that this was like a gift from God to her, taking into account that at the beginning of the year in 2020, she had also given birth to a premature baby at 28 weeks and only lived about 3 days. So after she was discharged, she had to immediately go into isolation as she had to continue, get rid of all the symptoms. After her isolation, that was when she was actually worried that what happened to the baby. The hospital hasn't called. Does that mean that he didn't survive and didn't make it? So on the 24th of December, the police came and visited her and basically told her that the hospital is looking for you. Please get on the phone and call the hospital. And she says that she took a bit of time to actually call the hospital because she couldn't really process the news as to will they tell her that the baby didn't make it, or did he survive? So they managed to officially meet in 2021, 4 days into 2021. And she says that she was a ball of emotion. She wanted to be excited, but yet at the back of her head, she was so worried if the baby is going to survive. But at this time, he was about 19 days. She also goes on further to say that, visiting the baby regularly, she says that he has developed a bit of personality. And she's a bit worried when he is discharged from hospital and she has to take him home because from what she's gathering is that he's going to be a bit of a bully and boss people around.
Nasipi, it's absolutely incredible. At the same time, it also highlights just what this virus is doing to human life, to human interaction, that a mother can be separated from her child for 19 days and not have any news whatsoever on her child. It's just, it shows just how much people are having to go through.
Well, that's indeed true. As I mentioned earlier, she is a frontline worker. She is a nurse. But when COVID hit the shores of South Africa, she was one of the people that had been moved to a different department. So she was contact tracing people and calling them, calling people who had tested positive and doing the contact tracing. So she's saying that she was actually on the other end of the line now, where she had actually tested positive, as conscious as she was, during the various lockdown levels. She still managed to contract COVID-19 and says that she was indeed worried of COVID-19 because she does have diabetes. However, she is saying that, she's very much excited and left us with some parting words for people that aren't taking the virus seriously, and said that it is indeed lurking in the streets and is ready to pounce, and cautioned people who aren't, adhering to the necessary measures that have been put in place by government, that they really, really need to reconsider their actions.
Oh, well, we certainly, grateful for her and wish her and her newborn baby all of the best. But, what a story. And you can catch the full report coming up later tonight on News at Prime with Nasipi Same.